What's up, ladies and gentle-tubers? It is Tyler with the eveRide channel, and this is a midweek moto vlog. So since I'm a bit banged up, this is a voiceover, but hopefully you will still enjoy the ride through the Badlands of southern Utah. So to start things off, here's a question and then a confession. Let's say that Rocky Mountain ATV MC was running another contest, kind of like the MwRide, which I'll post in the card in the upper right corner. But this time they were going to give away a motorcycle and gear and send you to several exotic riding destinations, all expenses paid. And they'd even send two guys along to film your adventure and look out for you if you crashed or if you broke down. Would you accept the trip? Think about that for just a minute. Now, time for the confession. I am a legitimate keyboard jockey and a poser and a sellout. So I'm sure that people think that my whole life is one big motorcycle adventure to another, and to be completely honest, I ride, if I'm very lucky, twice a week tops. And I'm certainly not an expert, and my reviews are from the perspective of an average rider, and it's pretty obvious that I'm just sharing my thoughts and ideas and my trash can mods and, the oftentimes bungled adventures with the world with a camera mounted precariously on my helmet. But in the scope of things, I'm a completely average rider, wrencher, photographer, and filmmaker. Nobody expects me to win races or build an entire motorcycle from scratch. YouTube, why it's awesome, is because it's a home for the average guy, and that's why I enjoy YouTube videos much more than anything produced by mass media. So, to change gears just a little bit here, recently I've been doing a lot of research on how the adventure community feels about sponsorships and paid promotions and the relationship between the sponsors and the sponsored. So I've been scouring ADV forums and dusting off super old Facebook posts, and a name that often comes up in the whole sponsorship sellout discussion is Ewan McGregor, and his role obviously in the Longway series. Now, to some camps, Ewan McGregor is the ultimate poser. He's the ultimate sellout, if you will. They say he's this pampered celebrity who has no clue about real motorcycling or wrenching or even the real world, and he wouldn't have made it around the world or down the length of Africa without a huge support crew and massive factory sponsorships, and the only reason why he did the trip was to make money and yada blah blah blah. So let's look at this. He did this at the risk of his very lucrative acting career, knowing full well that he could be making much more had he never gone. He had minimal off-road training or mechanical knowledge, so it had to be intimidating for him. And he left his family behind for months to promote UNICEF and cultural awareness around the world. And yes, he had factory support and crew, but if you really call that a sellout, then please let me know where I can sign up. So unless I've been around the world and ridden the length of Africa and eaten goat testicles and drank camel's milk and raised a ton of awareness for UNICEF, I don't have a leg to stand on to criticize Ewan or Charlie, because, for me, those guys are the inspiration for what I do. And the great thing about the Longway series is that it all seemed very real. Suddenly they were not actors anymore. They were real and they were vulnerable. So again, let's go back to that original question. Would you accept an all expenses paid ride to the greatest riding destinations in the world with a free motorcycle from a sponsor? I most certainly would. I think a person would be crazy not to. Now think very hard, because to get nitty gritty, you accepted free stuff to help a company promote their products, right? You'd supposedly no longer be riding for your own enjoyment, but to help promote Rocky Mountain. The purism would be diluted, and to some people you'd be a fraud. But think about it. Would their perception of you diminish your adventure or somehow make you regret seeing the sights you got to see? And what if you had the potential to help the sponsors as much as they help you? What if you could provide cheap and ultra-effective advertising to help the companies that you love and support? So in a good sponsorship, everybody wins. The industry wins, the rider wins, the sponsors definitely win. And we all get to enjoy the adventure and get inspired to take our own. And in Longway, they still showed the flaws of the 1150s frame, but BMW still sold a ton. Now here's another question. Would many of us have ever heard of Longway Around or adventure riding in general? Or would the producers have even considered filming the trip if instead of the average rider in Ewan McGregor, they had put a racer or a professional mechanic in front of the camera? And as famous as some racers are, Ewan had a much larger reach, and because he was vulnerable, the adventure was much more enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. And so I believe that sponsorship with that series was one of the most effective marketing campaigns in all of motorcycling. When it comes to reaching a new audience, companies have been doing it wrong for years. KTM made a huge mistake by not sponsoring Long Way Around, but they probably were sponsoring lots of racers. Think about it, how do you reach a new market of motorcyclists? You have to look beyond traditional sponsorships, especially in the ADV market, because we don't have a Sturgis or a MotoGP. You know, we've got Dakar, but I would wager that most adventure riders are actually more interested in adventure and seeing things than racing. So you have to turn where potential adventure riders know to look, and that's not going to be at motocross races or any of the many super awesome magazines for riders who are already enthusiasts. You have to reach the new people where they're looking. The two biggest search engines in the world, Google and YouTube. And think about this, our brains are programmed to ignore advertisements, banner ads, commercials, print ads. That's why advertisers often have to resort to like scantily clad ladies, but sponsors these days have got to target keywords. So in my utterly biased opinion, where are the best places to advertise adventure gear to new markets? Well, obviously it's forums and groups and Facebook and YouTube channels. They're not only perfect for keywords that new riders search for, but they're also places where people seek information. New riders are seeking reviews and recommendations and gladly watching these videos. Unlike the ads that are pushed at them, they actually seek these videos. And like I said before, are they getting the information from the highest paid racer? No, they're actually turning to average everyday guys on YouTube who actually use and test the gear and give an honest review. So last year, before I went on the West Coast Adventure Tour, I promised that this channel would always keep it real and let people follow along with the details of the channel. So here I am trying to make a living as an adventure motorcycle journalist or videographer, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a fast rider, nor do I have wrenching chops at all, but for 2 years I've put in 60 hours a week to make videos, write articles, test products, share good deals, and research the adventure community to build a business that is paid on average around $4 an hour. But perhaps this huge risk of leaving my job and doing this channel is finally paying off, and I have you to thank for that. So I have worked hard, but you know where the real power lies. It's you guys. So there's this internet marketing metrics company called Clout, and they rank businesses and people on their ability to connect with their audience through social media. So they say that a score of 40 is an average internet user. People with scores of 50 plus are considered worthy for sponsorship. Scores of 60 plus are in the top 5 to 10% of all social media users. Scores of 70 and above are considered major social influencers who often command thousands of dollars for a single tweet. And scores above 80 is where you find movie stars and musicians and presidents and stuff like that. So to give a few examples, Harley Davidson, the entire company, has a Clout score of 79. Triumph has a score of 65. Jeremy Clarkson, formerly of Top Gear, has a 78. Ewan McGregor is an 85. Motorcycle.com is a 60. And again, this is not based on fame or audience reach because many of these brands have hundreds of thousands of followers, but instead it's based on the ability to connect with an audience. It's your influence. And that is why I'm thanking you. You are where the real power lies because this audience is not large at all. 30,000 subscribers is not a big deal in the scope of things, nor is 6,000 Facebook likes or 3,500 Instagram followers. This is just small in comparison. But like I said, you are the best audience in the world, and I have you to thank for your comments and your questions and your likes and your shares, for following me on Instagram and Twitter, and engaging and having fun on the eveRide Facebook page. And because of you, Clout scores eveRide social media a 78. And at first I thought it was an error, but it's not. The fact that I could meet and ride with any of you, share an adventure, and feel like we're already friends really is a big deal. So I want to sincerely thank you to the few friends who stayed to the end of this video and the end of all of my videos, to the people who comment and like and share on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, all that stuff, to the people who use the links on everide.org to help me out financially, and to the people who even go so far as to click a playlist of mine and just let it roll all day long to increase my watch time stats. And you guys know who you are, and you rock. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the few companies who have had the guts to send a few free products to a quirky YouTube channel. C Concepts was one of the first. Green Chili Adventure Gear, Helmet Hook, LS2 Helmets, Rocky Mountain, and KLR Dash. And Damon and Tyler and Brent, John, Ed, Josh, Mark, Lonnie, so many people have really helped me out. And you guys, all of you, from the lurker who watches and hits the like button just on the occasional video, to Justin at Rocky Mountain, to Mr. Duff Factor himself, you guys are all making my dreams come true, and I really hope that in some way I'm helping you to live your dreams. And you guys are the power behind this channel, because without you, I'm just a poor mechanic and a mediocre rider on some outdated, albeit beautifully modded, old dual sports, making low-budget films on YouTube. However, with you, I have something to offer to companies, and that's exposure to the greatest, most passionate adventure riders in the world. So you guys, the reason why I made this video, and why I talk about Ewan McGregor and the relationship of sponsorships, is because, thanks to you, sponsorship is now a possibility for this channel. You know, a buddy of mine pointed out that with how many people my videos reach, I can reach an extremely targeted adventure audience for far less than Google or Facebook or really any other method of advertising. And he believes that sponsorship through this channel is the least costly and most effective way for an adventure company to promote a product. So I feel like I can do a lot of good for companies, but this is the important part. It is far more important that I do good for you guys. So in finality, I'm making this promise because you guys have built this channel, and as this venture moves forward, not everything might be ultra budget friendly or trash can windscreens. Brent and I often laugh that it's going to be really hard to get sponsorship from Sterilite trash cans. So sponsorships could come from larger companies with more expensive products. However, I will only review and promote stuff that I really do feel is an awesome value for money. If I don't do that, my channel becomes worthless. So, a disclaimer that I will make to all the paid sponsors that I get is that I will happily test products, but if I don't feel good about it, I can't promote it to you guys. Now at the same time, I don't want to publish overly negative reviews, so if I can't recommend a product, I'll most likely suggest to the manufacturer what, could be improved, and then just not publish anything so I don't hurt reputations or businesses that we all want to see succeed. That way, I hope to preserve editorial integrity. So you guys, we've got some really exciting things coming down the pipe at eveRide. We've got new hosts and bigger and better product reviews, and perhaps even access to motorcycles and gear that I could have never afforded on my own. And again, it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you. If you're new to the Chan and liked what you just saw, make sure that you hit that subscribe button for more midweek motovlogs like this and new videos every Sunday. Much love, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and all the support. eveRide out.